Hi, I'm Leah Jacobiak from markets.com, and with me is Sylvia from Goldex. She's the CEO of Goldex, and we're going to talk about gold from an investment point of view. But first of all, can you just give us an overview of what Goldex is all about?
Yes, Goldex is a company that launched in the UK about 2 months ago. It's an app that is available on the app stores for iOS and Apple, and it's the most sophisticated trading app to buy and sell physical gold. So we have basically made it very easy for people to invest in physical gold and basically to be able to store it and basically use it as a storage of wealth, but without any of the hurdles that usually gold investment entitles.
And looking at gold from an investment point of view, why should investors go for gold at the moment, considering the price has remained fairly flat for a long time?
Yes, absolutely. There are many theories as to why the price of gold keeps going down. I'm not going to elaborate into this because there are people who are much better qualified than me to discuss about this. Now, however, I can look a little bit into the future. Now, there is consensus that there is an equity bubble that at some point is going to burst. There are some people talking about end of 2018, but definitely 2019. We also see that there are certain situations such as Brexit being a big uncertainty, especially in the UK market, especially with the GBP currency. That is basically going to put a lot of pressure also in equities, but more importantly in the currency. And a third subject that is obviously going to be affecting the price of gold is the situation in the US with Trump, with the Chinese aranzels that they are putting onto the transactions, the trades with China and with other countries. That is also going to make the US dollar basically the value probably in 2019. So the overall view and the consensus is the right time now to buy gold. It's actually at bottom prices. I don't think it's going to go much farther down than it currently is. And even though I wouldn't say that people should be buying 50% of their portfolio into gold, I would highly recommend investors to put between, let's say, 8 and 15% of their portfolio in gold as a protection, as a hedging mechanism against their positions, overall positions in other assets, and I think it will be a good trade to do. So definitely it's an investment I would recommend to seriously consider now.
And for a company that uses a lot of technology to help investment, how do you value FinTech in general, and how is this really making investing possible for people in a way that it wasn't perhaps before?
Yes, especially, FinTech has opened many possibilities for investors. We see the likes of Revolut, we see even the likes of Monzo and other banks that are making us as clients and users having a much better experience. In the world of gold, that's even more evident. Up until very recently, people had to buy full bars. The size of the bars were quite large.
Sure.
Even today, there is still perception from friends of mine who say, "Look, when I'm a millionaire, I will buy gold," whereas that's not an issue anymore. Companies like Goldex allow investors to deposit £5. They don't have to buy full bars. They can put £20, £5, £50, whatever they can afford. They have a very easy way to get in. The commissions are extremely tight, but more importantly, the price at which we sell the gold are the best in the market. I would say that, whereas before there were a lot of barriers of entry in certain asset classes, now these barriers have disappeared, and there is no excuse for people who are not necessarily very savvy from an investment point of view to actually use these apps and try and test them.
Sure. And you're very outspoken when it comes to women in the world of investing and how engaged they are. And now I found a statistics that said that only 2 in 10 women in their 40s have shares. So there's clearly a lack of engagement there. Why is that?
It's very, we would have to spend probably a couple of hours talking about this, about the reasons why. We start from the beginning. The beginning is that, usually it was the role of the man, the husband, who would look at the investments and sometimes tell the wife, sometimes not even tell the wife about it. It was considered to be his job, the same that it was considered to be his job to do the DIY at home, and it was the woman's role to look after the children or change the nappies. And it's a cultural matter. Now, of course, these days we have more women with professional lives. We have more women who are not necessarily dependent on men to have a fulfilled life in terms of profession or investments, etc. And this is the generation that is pretty much my generation, or the generation under my own generation, where we are going to see a change, where women are controlling their own future, and their own future does not only mean that they control their own careers, but they also control their own money. Up until recently, remember, women did not necessarily have their own money because they were basically moms at home, and as such they did not have the control of the money other than to buy the groceries or certain things. So we will see a change in this. Also, there will be a change that, as I said before, the apps and the new FinTech revolution is going to make it available for everybody. And I think it's a change we will see, even though we have a lot of things to do. I think most of people of your age, for example, they will already be taken control, they will already have investments, and it's a trend we are going to see for sure.
And it's a trend you're seeing at Goldex?
Yes, we have a substantial amount of women, particularly, interestingly enough, because we're a gold company, especially on the Indian community, on the Asian community, because it's one of these niche markets where, for example, the gold owned within the Indian communities is owned by the women.
Right.
It's the parents that give the gold to the woman, and the woman then will keep that gold for the rest of her life. So it's her dowry in a way. So it's probably one of the few places where women are in full control of the investment. And because we do quite a lot of work within the Indian communities, and we have a lot of Indian customers, that's why probably we have quite a lot of women buying gold themselves through Goldex.
Very interesting.
Thank you.
Sylvia, thank you very much.
No problem, thank you.